And tonight we have special guests on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm always special, y'all.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Stop it.
That is like, thank you.
I know, right? All right, we're live, y'all. All right, I'm just gonna share really quickly. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
Right.
Hello, everyone. Come on in. I see you guys. Welcome. Yes, I see you. All right. Come on in, everyone. Okay, so tonight is another exciting Thursday night, and Miss Kat is going to do her regular introduction for you guys. In the meantime, I know that she is busy sharing and inviting.
I am just a tad bit.
Yes. So please, if you guys want to invite and share the link with your friends, please do that as we're getting ready to start the show tonight.
Yes. I will continue to share. In the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and welcome everyone in. As you come in, please share. As we always say, sharing is caring. We want to hear from you guys. We want you guys to participate. It has been great. And like I've been saying the past few weeks, you guys have really participated, right, Coach?
Yes.
And it shows. So we are appreciating you and continue to do so. Again, we have another exciting show. Today is already April 14th. I don't know about y'all, but I feel the summer, but I ain't body ready, but I'm all right. but we're gonna be okay. It's hot in New York. Like it's like 74 today. So
81.
81. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no wonder I'm burning. So if y'all see me do this, it's okay. So yes, as I was saying, so welcome guys to Maggie and Kattia show. So we have some great guests with us. So you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and let our audience know who you are. So I don't know who wants to start first. Oh, I'm sorry. I do need to do the disclaimer really quickly and let you guys know this is our opinions. And whatever we say, it is our opinions. You don't have to abide by it. Coach Maggie is great. We have Monday, that's great. So reach out to them if you guys need any kind of great advice. You can reach out to me too, right? If you like. Again, if you have young kids, just be mindful, as we always say. So yes, ladies, I don't know who would like to go first. Please welcome.
Yeah, Miss Yasmin, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much just for being able to come onto your show and just kind of share a little bit about myself. My name is Yasmin Young, and I am currently in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am originally a New Yorker. Hey. But I'm really what you call a heart healing coach. And clearly to have that kind of space, I've been through some stuff. And so having some childhood trauma, having experienced a 17-year failed marriage, I've had to overcome a lot of hurts and pains to be able to be on the other side. And that didn't come without having the courage to say yes, that it's worth it to get to the other side. So I work with women who have been physically, mentally, sexually abused, and just need a little bit of support to say, yes, you can also heal.
Thank you, Yasmin. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And tonight we have a special guest with us. This beautiful young lady I've met on Clubhouse, and we have a beautiful friendship, like sisters. We there for each other, we support each other. And so tonight I want to introduce to you guys Miss Tambry Harris. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Tambry is a spiritual director and leadership life coach who helps others claim their best selves and lives. Her 20 years of coaching and 8 years of spiritual direction translate into her work with survivors of sexual abuse and domestic violence. Through her organization, she provides individual guidance, small group retreats, and speaking engagements to bring awareness and light into the shame and silence of abuse and trauma. Tembri is also an author, and tonight she's going to talk to you about her book. And you're going to be learning a lot of things tonight from Tembri. At the end, my hope is that you'll find something in there that resonates with you, and you can use it to make some changes in your own life. Tembri is also, she'll be releasing a collaborative book, How to Heal or Divide, that will be released in May. Last November, Tembri was named McLenger Times 50 Most Influential Woman of 2021. Come on, guys, let's give her an applause. Help me welcome my friend, my sister, Miss Tembri Harris. So glad to have you here.
It's an honor to be here. And for those that you who don't know, April is Sexual Abuse Awareness Month. And so I'm wearing my teal and showing up around the topic. And I'm so grateful for Maggie to open her forum, open her home to Yasmin and I as we seek to share a little bit about ourselves, to be encouragers. And like Yasmin said, we've been through some stuff, and we are on the other side, and so to the degree we can share our hearts and our wounds and our journeys to help others step through theirs. That's why we're doing what we're doing. My story is one where I literally repressed memories for 30 years, and then truly through a panic attack. And so to me, that's where you have to believe that your body holds the trauma, and you've got to do the work to release it. And so after doing my work, all of a sudden I started recognizing these limiting beliefs that I had held all my life. And it's like light bulbs started coming on for me. And so all of a sudden it's going, oh, that's why I had to try and be perfect all the time. Oh, that's why I had to always try and strive to, accomplish these things, because deep down my woundedness was that I felt like I was unworthy. And that goes all the way back to 5 years old when I was sexually abused and no one came to my aid. No one saw it. And so this little girl started trying really hard to feel like she had some sense of worth and feel like, she could get some kind of attention. And so grades were that's how I navigated the world. And yet, Lord knows it is tiring trying to wear that perfection mantle, and that striving mantle. And so, and the other unfortunate thing that happened with me is that I am not worthy piece, that mindset led me into these unhealthy patterns. And so one of my unhealthy patterns was I didn't expect to be treated well in relationships. I actually couldn't trust people being too kind to me. And so that led me to marry into an abusive marriage. And I got out of that one. The first was really, really bad. Got out of that in 6 months. Didn't do my healing work, repeated the same patterns, and then married someone who was better, but still not kind, not good, fed into the unworthiness. And I believed all the stuff he fed me. And then I have a child with him. And so now I'm kind of passing on these patterns. And so for me, part of my message is that, sometimes people think by saying that, oh, this has happened to me, it somehow makes them weaker. To me, you become so much stronger. You find your voice, you claim your truth, I like saying you claim your going forward story. We have these past chapters, they will always be with us, and you can claim those going forward chapters for yourself. So so the book actually, as Maggie mentioned, I do one-on-one coaching, and I have a process I take people through to really examine their limiting beliefs and look at those unhealthy patterns and begin to translate them. And I don't know if we want to get technical, but the neural pathways, really begin to reprogram that thinking. And so the book is in part my story, because so many people feel like they're alone in this. Like they are in the dark. They feel like they're alone, and I want them to know, just like Maggie and I have connected as sister spirits. I want you to know that you have a sister spirit in that healing journey. And then I also have it's a workbook, it's a guidebook, and so I have literally questions to answer and things to do to kind of walk through the process. And like I said, I do the one-on-one coaching and I do speaking engagements. And that's actually how Yasmin and I connected at first. And it's like the spirits being pulled together. It was beautiful. And, but part of me also knows that sometimes people want to do their work from the safety of their own home at their own pace. And so that's why the book is a nice resource. Sometimes it's a good resource if you just want to start beginning to kind of process it, or some other folks have told me, and I'm going to invite anyone who has read the book and would like to offer some of the things that they've gotten out of the book that's been helpful. I know another friend of mine who we became friends again through this work, but she said, it just keeps helping me work the next layer. You think you've gotten there, but there's another layer. So keep working the layers. And so given this month is Sexual Abuse Awareness Month, I wanted to encourage healing by putting the book, reducing the price to make it more accessible. And so you can get it through Amazon. And I reduced it 25%. I believe Amazon's reduced it a little bit more. And so again, my hope is that you'll take advantage of that, or even if you have someone who could benefit from that, or you have someone that you want to understand where they're coming from. It also gives that perspective. Thank you so much, Maggie, for allowing us to just kind of raise awareness on the topic and the healing.
Thank you, Tambri. And before we close tonight, we will be talking a little bit about where people can get the book.
Okay.
And then, if you guys have any questions, you're listening, if you have any question about the book, we're going to be talking about a lot of things tonight. Some of the questions, you guys know how we do it. We bring it to you guys in a way that, we all can, resonate with it, where, you hear the word and it's not frightening, but then you understand what it means. So we're going to go tonight and have some fun with it, but not reducing exactly what we're talking about tonight, because no matter what, this is still a month that brings a lot of scars. Many people have gone through sexual abuse, many people. The funny thing is that people don't like to talk about this. And we cannot ask you to say something that you're not ready to say. But all we can suggest to you is to do the work to heal. So one day you too can have your own story to share. So we're gonna go straight into question number 1 right now.
Okay, so guys, the title of the show is why do we need to heal and forgive? And question number 1 is, what is the purpose of healing and forgiving?
Yeah, why is it so important? We're talking about, scars that we carry throughout our whole lives, right? Things that we've been through. Why is it important for us? Because everybody says, when you're talking to people, they say, oh, just forgive, just pray and forgive this person and it's gonna be okay. But no one really say, you need to do some healing first. Because how can you go and forgive and still have blood running, down your arms? You still feel the pain in your flesh. How can you forgive? I think it's sometimes we need to reframe the whole forgiveness aspect and talk about the healing process first, right? And for all of you who are watching tonight, I know you guys going to have some questions. That Ms. Kat says that everybody's usually fully engaged, and tonight is not going to be any different. So we're going to go and talk about why should we heal first before we forgive? What does that do to us? What do you guys think? Let me see what you guys think. Right? Things that we've been through first.
Did I
Sorry.
hear somebody say something? I think it's good for your soul. I think for you know, most importantly for you, if nothing else, you got to find peace within yourself. Because you're not going to do it for the person, you're going to do it for yourself. And that is how you can really start to come to terms with whatever it is that you need to come in to terms with. And that is the first step of, and that will open up the doors, I believe, to healing. And you can actually not blame yourself and not, you know, just accept it and find the best way of dealing with it. And then whatever that is, don't continuously blame yourself. And then that way, that's how I feel, you know, once you're able to do that, and then you're able to find ways to forgive. And I think it just brings a calm and just accepting of whatever it is, and trying to make better, I guess, make yourself feel better in order to move on the best way that you can. But it's always about self.
Thank you, Ms.
Always about
Kat.
self.
That's true, that's true. Who else wants to share next?
And I think about healing and forgiveness, and my spin's different in that forgiveness to me is a route to healing, because you are when you're able to forgive someone, you're able to heal. And what that looks like is that you can see someone for what they've done, but when you begin to understand the story behind the hurt that's been caused, you can forgive yourself in the process.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm frozen. On my end, I'm frozen.
Yes.
Sorry.
You are, but you can speak. We hear you. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so in order to really to heal.
That's okay. We'll come right back to you. We'll come right back to you, Yasmin. Anybody else want to pick up?
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead, Vanya.
That pain has caused, that unforgiveness has caused.
Okay, that's fine, Yasmin. We're gonna come back to you. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Vanya.
Yeah, as everyone say, healing, the purpose of it is to help you heal, to help you move forward, to put the pain behind, whether or not it's mostly for yourself. But some of people, even I'm one of the people who has problem about moving forward and forgiving, because I remember how I learned about how you're supposed to be saying sorry. They teach it to you as if, let's just say two children are fighting or arguing, or siblings or school. They put you in front of that person while you're still heated, and they say you have to say sorry. And when you're still angry, when you're still mad, and they force you to say sorry without you even have a chance to process it, or even just see your mistake in it, which very hard for a child to do, to see your mistake. It's something you learn later on. But when they push you to say sorry at the moment of the fight, it's kind of hard. You tend to have a different intake about forgiving.
Yeah.
Because I then later learned that forgiving is to take the pressure off. There's more than one way. You can forgive someone in portion, where you can forgive certain things and let certain things go if this person means a lot to you. So you can eventually get into a relationship back with that person in full growth. However, there are the one that I usually take. I don't think it's, I'm still processing it, where I just totally let it go. I have no more anger, no more sub story about the person. I don't talk about them. I just literally walk away and let it go. And eventually that heals. So there are so many different ways of healing. And there are the one where you absolutely forgive the person of the total act and you move away. It doesn't mean you have to reconcile with the person, but at least you move away. So these are the things we need when we tell people to forgive, you have to give them an option of what it is available, so they don't feel like they have to go into a place where they're not ready.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
You know,
Yeah, go ahead, Kimberly.
yeah, I was just going to say, so when you were talking about the woundedness, Maggie, and how we've got to heal, one of the things I always think about is just like a real wound. If you don't let the air get in, if you don't let it truly do the healing process that needs to, it ends up festering and ends up getting, even worse than it might have been to begin with. And Vanya, when you were just talking, that kind of opened that thought up even more for me, because if we're forced to forgive too soon or to say I'm sorry too soon, then
Mhm,
it almost shuts off that healing opportunity.
mhm.
And you can't go back because, well, it's already been said. We said we were sorry, we're moving on. But no, it wasn't. And so I just really appreciate that layer you just brought out about some premature trying to just move through too fast
Mhm.
can actually do a disservice. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate you naming that.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, Mr. Mundy.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's important for people to understand that when you experience, like when someone does you wrong,
Mhm.
right, they actually plant seeds in your heart, seeds of anger, seeds of bitterness, resentment. And so with time, if you don't root out that seed over the course of time, right, what's going to happen is it's going to fertilize, it's going to fester, right? And if as you continue to wallow in it, you yourself, you become angrier, you get angry, you become bitter, you even want to, you begin to fantasize about vengeance, and you want to do wrong to the person who did you wrong. And what I realize is eventually, if you're not careful, you are likely to become like the person who did you wrong.
Yeah.
And so the only way to protect yourself from becoming like the person who did you wrong is to pull that evil seed out of your heart, right? And to me, that's when we talk about healing, you can't move past that first tool. That forgiveness is a tool, right? So when people need to understand, when you forgive someone, it doesn't necessarily mean that the perpetrator is going to change by that act.
Mhm,
The forgiveness is not for them, it's really for you.
mhm.
It's giving yourself a chance to heal from the wrong that has been wrong to you, right? And a lot of time people miss that. Again, we can talk about this maybe a little bit later, because there are so many myths associated with forgiveness that are really not part of forgiving someone. Me forgiving you doesn't mean that I trust you,
Mhm.
right? If you break that trust, I can forgive you, but that doesn't mean that I'm automatically supposed to trust you again. So, but we can talk about that a little bit later.
Thank you, thank you. And that's why it's important for us to have these conversations, because we sometimes we hear so many different stories of what they tell us that we should do or how we should be. But then if we don't feel like those things make sense to us, then we're stuck. And tonight, we gave some clarity, and it's not enough to just forgive, but the healing process needs to be done as well. And let me share with you some of the people here, what they're saying. Welcome, welcome everyone. We have Miss Lucia, Katie, Elsie, Cricket, Miss Carol, Carrie Ann, oh my gosh, Belle Creole, and Miss Flora, of course, and everybody else who's here with us. And Roll, thank you for coming. Thank you guys. Let me tell you, Miss Cricket says, that's exactly what I mean. You will hurt others as you were hurt. And she totally agreed with you, Mr. Mundy. And Karen said, good word, Mundy. Philip says, great show tonight. Thank you guys. I second everything that everybody said, because I remember what I had to deal with, going from my own abuse. And everybody was telling me, okay, well, you need to forgive and, move on and let it go. But I was not in that space. So you can't tell people to do something when they're not in that space. You have to give them the space to heal and then allow them to move at their own time. And when that happened, for those of you who probably heard me saying that before, when you forgive, there is a lot more than just saying, okay, well, I forgive this person. But you also need to understand that the release part of it, it really does something magical for you, because it's like having this big load over your head and said, okay, you know what? I'm going to put this down. And now you feel light. So that's why we have to do this. And if you guys have any questions about this, please reach out to us here. We can definitely work you through it. Don't hesitate, because we do things with love here. So reach out to us. I know we have lots of questions and lots of great things to share. Please continue to give us your feedback. We're gonna go on into question number 2, Ms. Scott. And respectful of the time of Mr. Mundy, so he's gonna go first.
How to get out of your way. Question 2, right?
Yes. Yes, sorry, Ms. Vanya, yes.
Okay. How to get out of your limiting belief?
How do you
get out of
limiting beliefs, Mr. Mundy?
how to get out your limiting belief?
Yes. Stories that you're telling yourself.
You may not be able to, because we are the product of our environment. We are the product of what we were taught. We are the product of what we believe about ourselves. We are the product of what our parents installed in us. We are the product of what the society says you are. And so if you allow yourself and become marinated by all this, you can become constipated to the point where you can't really see yourself anything more outside of that box, outside of those labels, right? So it's going to require, let me use this illustration if I may. Imagine that someone took a hammer and hit you and broke your leg, and then you are laboring in pain, and then someone else comes and say, let me take you to the hospital. You do have two options. One is you can stay there and labor in your pain and continue to remain there with your broken leg, or you can go to the hospital, go see a doctor, right? And begin the process of healing. I think a lot of time we say, well, when it comes to forgiveness, right? Why should I be the one to do the work? Why should I be the one to try to figure this out? Why? And the truth of the matter is because you are the one who's hurt, right? And so when I look at my life and look at all the garbage that I was fed, at some point I have to stop and begin to reflect about who am I truly? And because you can feel it in your gut that, this is not you. It's almost like you are sharing, you are inside of a skin, but the real you is trying to emerge, right? So eventually you're gonna come face to face with the reality that you are much more than what people told you were. And that process can be a very scary process. It can be a very painful process at times. But let me tell you, at the end of it all, there's a butterfly that's getting ready to fly and enjoy the world. And so as painful as it is when you are in that cocoon, right? Allow yourself to go through that process, because the other side of that, it's so much more. than what you have experienced. You are so much more than your pain and your misery and all the bad things that happen to you. There is so much more in you, right? And so it's just allowing yourself. And if you are stuck and you can't do it alone, then this is the time when you reach to a therapist or coach and, allow the professionals to help you get unstuck so that you can begin to see the true you, the person you are designed to be.
That was beautiful, Mr. Mundy. That was really, really nice. And I fully agree with you. Who else wants to share? This is beautiful. And I would like to get some feedback from everybody. Oh, yeah, they are. Yes, everybody is giving their intake. Kessler, so nice to see you. Oh, thank you, Karen. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, good. Our thoughts become feelings and feelings begin writing a belief system. And even if you think differently, you won't change until you rewire the belief system. Philip, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, ladies. So who's next?
Well, it's basically what Mundy says. The belief that when we came here born, our parents or teachers or family members embedded so much in us. Sometimes we don't even know why we do certain things. We just do it. We just follow the norm, what is supposed to be the norm. And we don't even know why we do it. And for example, every Sunday, people go to church. Why do we have to go to church every Sunday when the church open every day? Why do we have to eat certain food for dinner when we can have breakfast for dinner if we want to? If I feel like making eggs for breakfast, waffle, I can have that. But we are so wired, even we believe that we are not lovable. We believe that certain job is way too much or too is not up to we can't do it, when we can take any job because we all have some kind of a mentor that can assist you in a new position. But it's the thought that we can't accomplish certain things due to the ritual that we've learned from our parents and grandparents and whoever's around us, the society, social media, and we put a limited belief that we can't accomplish anything. So the only way you can get out of it is by practicing every day, like Mundy said, coaching, and also just affirmation of I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And then next thing you know, you are doing it, and then you reprogram yourself to something that is better for you, that is you.
You know, this is such a good conversation that we're having. And I know many of you are watching, and you know, each one of you has your own story. And how many of you, if you take a minute to think about it, what was some of the most negative things that someone told you about yourself when you were a kid? Or don't do this because you cannot do that. They've already limited you into what they think you can do. Oh, well, no, you're not gonna succeed at this. Don't even give it a try. You know, oh, don't apply for this school. They're not going to accept you. Oh, well, don't go for this career because this is, you can't do this. Unfortunately, we have those things in our mind. And when we find ourselves having blockages and wonder, why is it I'm afraid? Why is it I can't do this? Those stories that you were fed as a child. So now that we know better, we need to change how we raise our own kids and how we talk to ourselves. We need to learn to break those old habits. So I'm going to step back and let somebody else share because this is really good. We need to have this conversation. And please keep giving me your feedback, everybody. Philip, well said, thank you. All right, guys.
So one of my favorite phrases is be curious. You know, what's that about? So you've got the voice that comes up in your head that says, I'm not worthy.
Yes.
Where did that come from? Was it something I was told? Was it something I inferred? And for me, I believe I inferred it because I was ignored. No one came to my help. And so I think even some of these limiting beliefs can come up in stories we make up to try and explain. But there's also things that starting to look at, like I love word stems. And so like a word stem would be, you must always blank, or you never blank. And so one of the things was, you never just sit and be still, because that's lazy. And so you need to always be doing in perpetual motion. And yet, how can you ever get in touch with your whole self, your authentic self, like Mondi was talking about? And so to me, really being curious about what's wrong with sitting on the couch, and being able just to relax. What's wrong with that? And just recognizing these things that that come up for us. And I think someone put in the chat when you were reading it, Maggie, the part about, we've got these beliefs, and then that then translates into the thoughts and then into the actions. And so if we can start catching ourselves at that thought level and go, is that real? Is that true?
Yeah.
And so, like I said, you are not worthy. Is that true? You wouldn't say that to your best anybody. You wouldn't say that to your worst friend. I mean, and so if you wouldn't say it to someone else, why would you believe that about yourself? So then, and I think what Vanya was saying, so let's reframe it and say, what would it look like to claim I am worthy, and operate from that place? And to your point, it takes a while. It takes a while to begin to claim that new perspective, but just starting by questioning it is a great place.
Yeah. And I think we can start right now. Why not? Why not start saying it to ourselves? I can do this. What is it that you've been telling yourself that you want to do, but you're afraid to do it? So can you get that job that you wanted? Yes. Yes, you can. Can you buy yourself that house? Yes, you can get the money to do it. Can you find yourself your husband? Yes, you can. Just do the work. Can you achieve everything you want in life? Guess what? God says, I'll give it to you abundantly. Just ask and you shall receive. Yes, you can. All right, Yasmin.
Yes, hopefully my connection is better. I'm sorry if it's not, but one of the things that Vanya mentioned, I think that's so critical to be able to overcome your limiting beliefs is building a community. Like you get trapped in these thoughts and you have no way out sometimes because it's a part of your narrative. You've created almost a different person inside. My old pastor used to say the scene of the crime is your mind, and that's where everything starts. But if you had a circle, if you had a tribe, if you had one or two people that you can say, hey, I need support today. Hey, I need prayer today. These are the thoughts. And that goes back to being authentic, right? You have to be willing to acknowledge the truth about what you are dealing with internally. Right? This is one of the things I'm so passionate about is mental health. Because if you scrape, when Tambri was talking earlier, if you have a wound, it's visible, you can see it. But what about the wounds of the mind? You can't see those. So we have to be able to be willing to be vulnerable and build a tribe of people to say, hey, hold me accountable. I'm struggling today.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Miss Kat, I think you said you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, I think that everything everyone just said is very much on point. You really do have to, the teaching has to start with self again. We're the one, we're a worst critics. So if we're sitting here doubting ourselves all the time, being negative towards ourselves, I remember Professor said that to me not so long ago. Why do you feel like you can't, or this was stupid because it was about an exam? So if you start feeling like this anxiousness where you already, oh my God, I know I'm going to do bad. So all you're doing, you're already setting yourself up because you've already started that stress level and you've already set yourself up to fail. So instead of that, say, okay, I got this. I studied, I did what I had to do. So now I'm just going to do my best. So it's always self. It's always yourself. You have to always be true and stop doubting yourself and stop looking down. I know we do it all the time. I do it all the time, criticizing myself for whatever reason. And if it's something you can change, work towards, sometimes don't look at the bigger picture. Like we always say, let's start with small steps. It doesn't look so big and we can't overcome it. So I think if we start doing that a lot, then it gets easier to fix whatever it is that you may want to fix. It's like, always love yourself, you know, always. And I want to say this. This was very personal to me. I'm sorry. I remember when I was going through something and I was breaking my last relationship, and I had gotten to a point, and that was the first time in my life where I got to a point where I was low, that I had to remind myself, you're smart. You've done all these things by yourself. You're beautiful. You this. I wrote on sheet of paper and plastered them in mirrors, my bedroom, my bathroom. So that really, I needed that. It was the first time I experienced that. So for me, it worked. But it's not something that you'll be surprised, like how you allow yourself to just, I'm not worthy. So it's easier said than you can imagine, but it's harder to get it back up, but you can do it, because I'm doing it and I'm still doing it. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for sharing, and thank you to everyone who's watching also, and for everything that you shared with us, because I can see these are conversations that we need to have, and it's too often we hold back because we tell ourselves a story. But tonight, everybody has, you have permission to be who you are and not letting anyone or anything hold you back. So, just, it's part of self-love as well. So let's focus on who you want to be, but not who someone told you that you should be. So you can enjoy your best life.
I wanted to interject real quick. One of the chapters in Tamari's book is about claiming, and she lays out so well her story of overcoming.
Mhm.
And one of the things, and I wrote it down and I want to read it to be intentional. Speaking the truth takes the power from whatever it is, the pain, the abuse. And so we have to begin to change the narrative around trauma, around abuse, around whatever that it is for you. And so, Tambria, I just want to honor you. Like, you gave people a space to see themselves in your story, but then also you gave them tools in this book to be able to say, well, I can do this too. So I just wanted to kind of shout you out in that, but really thank you also for that.
Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, ladies, are we going on to question 3 or 4? It's 9:44.
Let's go to 4.
Okay.
So question number 4 says, how do you know you are following your purpose?
Yeah, good questions, guys. How do you know you're following your purpose? What is it that you're doing in your life right now that makes you feel, guess what? I'm exactly where I need to be. And do you know what that's like to follow your purpose? You know, that little excitement that you feel when you're doing things, although when you're tired, you still continue. You know that feeling, right? Are you following your purpose? I would love to hear from you guys. Tell me, are you guys following your purpose? And if you're not, what is blocking you? What is blocking you from doing that? All right, let's acknowledge Carol that says going to watch TV instead. And then Miss Floret, thank you. Thank you for what you just said. Joanna, yes, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you guys. And please, thank you, Miss Vava. It's hard to break, but must be done, definitely. Yes, definitely. Speaking well of yourself. That's true. We do need to speak well of ourselves because words have power. So let's get back to the question. How do you know you are following your purpose? What is your purpose in this life? How do you know you're following it? Who wants to take this one first?
I'll take that.
Go ahead, Vanya.
Because when I was reading the question and I felt like, oh, I think I always know. No, I already know when I'm following my purpose. It's when I'm not, let's just start with when I'm not. When I'm not, I feel drained, not drained in the sense that I've been working all day and I'm tired and I'm sleepy or anything. I feel mentally drained. I feel I'm not aligned with anything. And I'm like, oh, why did I do this? But when I am following my purpose and I say something or do something, I got this overwhelmed warm feeling and fuzzy and goosebump. And I know it's leading me, you did good. And whatever it is, the decision you're making, or it is all feeling that you are doing it correctly. You feel good about it. And even if somebody says you shouldn't do that, but it's what's inside, it's how you feel. That's how I know I'm following my purpose. When I get that warm feeling about a decision, about an action or whatever it is, and I feel pleased, I feel honored, I honored myself, and I feel satisfied, content, and all that good stuff. And that's when I know, okay, I'm in a good track.
That was beautiful, Miss Vania. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Let me just share really quickly with you guys. Cricket says, you know, you're in purpose when you're not struggling. That's true. It comes natural. Katie says, I'm trying to follow my purpose of helping others by going to nursing school. Congrats. Congrats. So proud of you. Lucia says, following my purpose bring me joy and enlightenment. And Daniela, nice to see you. All right. Okay, ladies, please, and gentlemen, please tell us, are you following your purpose and what is it?
I think it's pretty much just being at peace, no matter what it is, no matter how somebody else feels. You're not going to intentionally hurt somebody or go and harm anyone. But I think for me, as long as I'm comfortable, again, I always come to self because I think that's ultimately who you answer to when you need to be. I feel like if I'm comfortable with my decision, if it doesn't keep me up at night in a bad way, sometimes it does keep you up at night in a good way. But I feel like as long as, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do, and I've taken steps to do it, and I'm content and I'm happy. And whether you get, whether somebody else may not be comfortable with that with that decision, but it's about you. Is this really what your intentions are? You've already, and you have, like, you can already see it. Yes. Like just talking about it, like you are alive and you're able to see, and this is it, like, this is what I'm doing. I've already made all the necessary steps. And even if you haven't, but the fact that you're content and it brings your soul, it feeds your soul, I think then you're following your purpose.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Thank you. All right, who's next?
There's this saying that I've heard that I love. It says, a career is what you're paid for, and your calling is what you're made for.
Yes, yes.
And sometimes you got to have a career, right? You need to be able to have the finances to get into a position to be able to do your calling. And then I was thinking about, there's this unsettling in your spirit that it's like a nag. So I thought about, like, you know where fruit flies are, right? Yes. They just, it's like, where were you living that all of a sudden you have taken over all these fruit and you can't get rid of them? And that is what that unsettling feeling is for. Like, it nags and it nags and it nags. And, you know, the hard part is saying yes and passing the fear, right? And fear is something that we all have faced at one point in our lives. But when you press through the fear on the other side, like, that's your calling. That's what you're made for. That's what you're created for. And so, you know, just think about that nagging. If it doesn't go away, you probably should press in.
Yep.
Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Debris.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you say that, Yasmin, because 4 years ago, it was put on my heart with all the #MeToo things. I mean, their hands were going up and there was this unsettledness in me. And I'm like, what is that about? And I literally, I meditate and pray every morning for 2 months. I kept saying, okay, what is this? What is this? And it finally came to me that, you know, the hands are going up, but are they still, do they go back down and they go right back into their same way of being? the kind of being stuck in the limiting beliefs and the pain and the wounds. And so, stepping into this, and I think about, for me, it's almost like a culmination. It's like I've had all these experiences up until now that then allow me to do something that may be uniquely me, that the fact that I'm a spiritual director, and I mean, all these different pieces of me come into play in what I feel being called to do. And when, Yasmin gave me that shout out just a minute ago, and, to hear people tell me that the book spoke to them, or, in working with me, that they are, it's opened up, just new chapters, new ways of thinking, that then says, I'm doing the right thing. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I remember when I first started doing this work, a friend of mine said, because life coaching, leadership coaching is a broad topic, right?
Mhm.
And when I got into this, she's like, you found it. You found your purpose.
This is it.
And so, so when you get those kind of beautiful voices into your spirit and affirm what you're doing, then you just, it really kind of undergirds the efforts.
That was nice. I mean, I like what everybody's saying. And let me just read to you guys what Carrie Ann said. She says, purpose to me involves your passion and allowing it to nurture others. That is so true. I always say, if I were not following my passion, doing this, coming to you guys every Thursday night, if I were not following my passion, coaching women in, who are survivors, whether they're just looking to find their most compatible partner, whether they're looking for love, if I were not following my passion, I don't think that I would want to do this, because I can talk about relationship 24/7. Sometimes I know my husband probably get tired of me, because I can be on the phone with people just talking about relationships and what is it you can do to make it better? What is it you can do to find love? What is it? I mean, I'm like, don't stop. Sometimes I even ask myself, why do you always want to get into people's business? But there's this burning desire inside of me that needs to, want to make a difference, want to help, want to change lives because of what I've been through. So that's when I knew that I'm following my passion. So when people ask me, well, what kind of work you do? I often say, I'm not working. I'm following my passion.
Mhm.
So how many of you guys are following your passion? I would love to hear you guys. And even if you don't share with us tonight, when you get home, ask yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, are you following your passion? Or is it time for you to reconsider so you can find your passion and enjoy it? Because there's nothing better in life than to do something that you love doing, not just for the money, but something that you truly enjoy. All right, guys, I know we're getting ready to, are we gonna do question number 3 before we do the last one, Miss Scott? We can't hear you, Miss Scott.
Sorry. I was saying it's 54, so unless we're gonna go through it very quickly, I guess.
Yeah, we can go through
We
it
could
very
try.
quickly. Ladies, we'll go to the question very quickly. Okay.
Question number 3 says, what are some topics that are uncomfortable for couples to discuss?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say right off the bat, if you cheated. Being unfaithful, I think.
Yeah.
Or finance. Finance can be depending. I think finance and just really being open. I think sometimes you with someone, but you're not really friends. You don't really have great communication, and you're afraid to be yourself. So that in itself is a problem. So if you're not able to be yourself, then it'll be hard for you to have any kind of meaningful conversation that's important to you, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Guys, I don't know if you heard the question. What are some topics that are uncomfortable for couples to discuss? what are some of the topics? And Kat, you know, just
Uncomfortable, uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. Okay.
Yes, uncomfortable.
I think trauma in itself is a very hard topic to discuss because again, it's vulnerability. And then one of the things that can come out of that is addiction.
Yeah.
All kinds of addictions. And so who wants to say, hey, I have all these issues, I got this junk. And so that's really hard. But you know, if you're in the right relationship and you're in a healthy relationship, that person will support you. There's not shame, there's not condemnation, there's grace and there's love and there's support.
Yeah. Thank you, Yasmin.
Yeah, and I think building on what she just shared, I think what sometimes is hard is that then that person's heart hurts for you so much, and they might want to fix it or do something. And I think sometimes the partner just needs to know just being there and listening and loving you unconditionally is all that you really need. They can't undo what happened, but they can sit in it with you and love you through it, especially if we're dealing with some of these limiting beliefs. They can speak truth and love into some of that. But it takes a huge level of vulnerability and authenticity to share those kind of things with someone.
That's true. That's true. Thank you. Ms. Vanya?
Well, to me, it's there's no one conversation. It could it all depends on the couple, how they handle it. Some couple could be very aggressive about handling a situation, so the other one who's passive aggressive is afraid to speak to you. It could be anything about such as subject as having children or more children or less children or no children. It could be about the finances, some of you are saying. It could be about anything. Sex drive could be different from everyone. So any topic that you find it very difficult to speak to the person about, that's the topic you need to sit with them. And when you, at the time where they are ready to speak about it. And so it could be anything to me, but like I said, it's just it's the communication, to sit with your partner at a time where no one is heated. And I also believe that when you're speaking to someone about, that's what I always do when I'm speaking to someone about anything that's uncomfortable, I will sit next to you and hold your hand as I'm letting you know, what is it that I think we can work on, or I don't like. And then I don't accuse you of anything. I just say, I don't like when I feel this way. So as opposed to being accusatory. So it all depends on how the couples, what's important to them is not important to another one.
Yeah, I like what you guys shared, and I'll just add to it. I think these days, politics is something, and religion are things that people don't really want to talk about. So let's just be mindful of, just know who you're talking with, and try to avoid things that can create problems, because sometimes we get into arguments for nonsense because we want someone to see things the way we see them. It's easier to just accept people for who they are and avoid things that can create chaos in the relationship. But let me tell you, Cricket agrees with you. She says, virtue, Vanya. My Margaret, nice to see you. Philip says, yes, where to eat can be, people argue about all little things. They can be difficult telling people, I want to go to that restaurant. This person says, no, I want to have that food today, totally different. Yes. Lucia say money. That's true. Karen says trauma. There's so many things that can be difficult, but you know what? We can always find a way to share a message, and for those of you who probably don't know this about me, communication is something that is so important to me. And I think if we just learn how to listen, okay, and not start creating an answer before the person finishes, that's a good one. Or if you can just stand still and really share your story without all this body language, because then the person can receive them in a negative way. There's just some little techniques that we can change. You'd be surprised. Things that you told yourself you couldn't communicate about, you'd be surprised. If you change the body language, how the person can receive what you want to say. All right, and as we're getting ready to question number 5, this is it for tonight. Oh my gosh. Just one or two things quickly, as we're saying, you know, since it's already 10 o'clock. And I'm asking everyone to please share with us something that you're grateful for this week. You know, we do this every week because we want to walk out of here feeling good about ourselves. And so what is it, everyone who's watching, what is it are you grateful for this week? Please share with us. My panel, please share with us. What is it are you grateful for this week?
I will continue to say that I am so grateful that my loved ones are doing well. I'm able to do for myself, because I continue to say that every week, because I think it's important that, again, it's affirming. And the more you think about it, the more you start realizing that is the ultimate. Everything else comes after, you know, loving your mate, yourself, your family, and just being able to do for myself, getting up, walking, moving, eating, feeding myself, doing
Yes.
everything, just being alive and
Yes.
and having my loved ones as well.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Thank you. Who's next?
Go next. For me, it's a day. I have a daily reminder that every day is a new day. And so I really am grateful that it's a new beginning. You know, I may have done things or said things that may have hurt someone or offended someone, or I may have shared some love and insight, but whatever that day brought me, I know that tomorrow it's a chance to try again. It's a chance to do it again. So I'm just grateful for the gift of a daily renewal.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Who's next? Ms. Vanya, Ms. Tembry, ladies. What are you grateful for?
My health. Wake up every day, I'm able to walk out of my bed. My family,
Yeah.
my mom, my job. That's the basic thing. And today I was so happy that I was able to go out for a walk in the sun, because it was 80 degrees in New York.
That's
So,
beautiful.
and I have not gone out. I work at home. So I can be a whole week stay inside, never went out because I hate the cold. So today was the first day when I heard it was 81, before I even get up to come to work, I dressed on my lunchtime and I walked a couple of blocks, about 6 to 8 blocks, and then come back. And I felt so rejuvenated. I didn't even want to eat. I didn't even eat lunch. I felt like the sun was my nutrition. So I was so happy. It just got me into a different mood. So I was happy today. It was 81 degrees.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. All right, Tembry, as we're getting ready to close, please tell us what is it you're grateful for. And before you say anything, give me 1 second. Let me just remind everyone, for those of you who are interested in learning more about the work that Tembry is doing, please follow her. She's on Clubhouse. She is on every social media. And also, if you want to support her, please go to Amazon and download her book. There's so much information in there that's going to change lives. So that's the way we do it here. And if any of you has a book and you want to come on here on stage with us so we can, you know, talk about the work that you're doing, don't hesitate to call, because this is what we do. We support our community. We love on each other. Please, Tembry, share with us as we're getting ready to close.
Thank you, Maggie. So I had the opportunity last weekend to go visit my daughter in school. She's about 4 hours away. And so being able to just be there in her space, enjoying her, and it's the layers of that there's so many, because back to our chapters, I mean, she and I have both been through some tough chapters. And so now to be in this chapter where we're both just and loving each other and just having this authenticity between ourselves and kind of moving into, you know, these thriving chapters, it's just absolutely beautiful. And she shared a minute ago, she's fulfilling her purpose of being a nurse and going to nursing school. So it just brings me so much joy to know that. And yes, please, I'm Tambry at survivorstothrivers.com. And our handles are Survivors to Thrivers Instagram and Survivors to Thrivers official for Facebook. So would love for you to come check out our website and see more about what we do. And thank you again, Yasmin, for the shout out about the book. And if anybody else wants to put anything into the chat as we close, what they feel like the book has done for them, feel free to do that. And thank you again for having us here today, Maggie, and talking about this topic and just trying to encourage others to truly claim their best life and their purpose.
Oh, well, thank you for being here. I appreciate the work that you're doing, and I am thankful for this space. I'm thankful that God has put it in my heart to do this. At the beginning, I wasn't sure because I started this Facebook Live back in 2019, I believe it was, and I stopped after 6 months going on a book tour. And it's been over a year since we've done this. So I'm so thankful for that. So thankful to be able to have so many people, shower me with love and having a space where I can share with my community and give without holding back and give without expectations. So thank you to each and every one of you for allowing me to come to your home every week and spend time with you guys. And thank you for sharing your own time with us here every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on my Relationship Grow official page. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I do want to say, okay, Lucia, thank you. Put your info on the chat, please, Tembri. Yes, so they wanna be able to reach out to you, Tembri. Put your information on the chat. So yes, Miss Florette, you're grateful for your kitchen. Yes, it's gonna be ready pretty soon, Miss Florette. So Cricket says, you guys, you are inspiring. Vanya, you inspire me this evening. So you see, we come here, to pour into the community, and what I love is that my community pour into us too. So I love you guys, I really do. And as we get ready to leave, I just does anything else anybody want to share before we get ready to go? We're good.
Well, I'm typing in right now the fact that Yasmin and I are going to do a podcast starting in June called Courage to Heal. And so stay tuned. But that's one of the reasons why we wanted to kind of come out and be together on your show and hope to, like you, continue to encourage others.
Thank you. Ms. Vanya, you want to say goodbye before we go?
I see you guys next week.
Yes. Same time, same place. Miss Kat?
Same time, same place, same bat channel.
Yes.
All right, everyone, have a great week, rest of the week and weekends, and just be good to yourself and to your loved ones. Tomorrow's not promised, so enjoy every second.
That's true. Thank you, Miss Kat. Yasmin?
Yeah, just thank you so much to be able to just share, just authentic, and it's just a great environment to be around. And like Tambri said, she and I, we're soul sisters in that we have the same message, is that you can heal too. And so in June, we're going to be launching our podcast, Courage to Heal, and we're grateful for the space to be able to help others heal.
Thank you. And as we're getting ready to leave, you guys know that I do this every single day, every single week, right? And I do want to remind you this because it's so important, because sometimes I think we forget. We have one shot at this thing called life. One. We don't know where we came from and where we're going after that. But right now we know that we're here. Our job is to enjoy the journey. So hashtag OMD, everybody, owning my destiny. Hashtag OMD, please, everybody. Come on, Miss Florette, hashtag OMD. All right, thank you, Lucia. Hashtag OMD, thank you, Elsie. Hashtag OMD, everybody. I love you guys sitting doing it before I say it. Right before I say it, thank you, everybody. Hashtag OMD, everyone. I love you guys. Mwah. I thank you. Right.
Somebody said happy Easter. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter.
Yes. Happy Easter to those who celebrate Easter. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, hashtag OMD, everyone. We love you. We'll see you back next week. In the meantime, if you have questions, please don't forget to go on my messenger and send me your questions for next week. Mwah. Love you guys. I'll see you soon.